Terribly wrong facts. Non-Muslims still believe Misconception 1. Muslims worship the Kaaba. The Kaaba is a cube-shaped structure in Mecca that Muslims face during prayer, but it is not worshipped. Islam teaches worship of God alone without physical representations or intermediaries. Facing the Kaaba serves as a unified direction, not an object of devotion. Early Muslims once prayed toward Jerusalem, which further shows that the Kaaba itself is not sacred because of inherent power, but because God designated it as a point of unity. Worship is directed entirely to God, not to buildings, objects, or locations. Misconception 2. Muslims worship a moon god or follow a pagan religion. Islam is strictly monotheistic. It rejects the worship of all created things, including the sun, moon, or stars. The crescent symbol often associated with Islam is cultural, not religious, and does not appear in the Quran or early Islamic practice. Islam actively opposed the pagan traditions present in pre-Islamic Arabia. The word Allah simply means the one God in Arabic and is used by Arabic-speaking Christians and Jews as well. Islam teaches that God is the creator of the universe, not part of it, and cannot be represented by symbols or celestial bodies. Misconception 3. Islam is an Arab religion meant only for Arabs. Islam's message is universal. Although it originated in Arabia and the Quran was revealed in Arabic, Islam is not tied to ethnicity or nationality. The majority of Muslims worldwide are not Arab. Countries like Indonesia, Pakistan, India, and Nigeria have far larger Muslim populations than Arab nations. Arabic is used in prayer to preserve the original wording of the Quran, not to impose Arab identity. Islam explicitly rejects racial superiority and teaches that moral character, not ethnicity, defines a person's worth. Misconception 4. Muslims reject or deny Jesus. Islam affirms Jesus as one of the greatest prophets. Belief in Jesus is mandatory in Islam, not optional. Muslims believe in his virgin birth, miracles, moral authority, and future return. Where Islam differs from Christianity is in theology. Islam does not believe Jesus is God or the Son of God. Instead, it teaches that God is entirely separate from creation. Mary, the mother of Jesus, is honored extensively in Islam and is named in the Quran more than in the New Testament. Misconception 5. Islam promotes violence or terrorism. Islam forbids aggression. The Quran permits fighting only in self-defense or against persecution, and even then under strict ethical limits. Civilians, children, religious figures, and non-combatants are not to be harmed. Destruction of property and resources is prohibited. Terrorism violates Islamic teachings by targeting innocents and spreading fear. Political violence carried out by individuals or groups does not represent Islamic doctrine, just as crimes committed by followers of other religions do not define their faiths. Which of these misconceptions did you hear growing up, and which one surprised you the most? Leave it in the comments. Misconception 6. Jihad means holy war. Jihad literally means struggle or effort. Its primary meaning is internal. Striving to control one's ego, act ethically, and live responsibly. Social jihad includes working for justice, helping others, and opposing wrongdoing through lawful means. Armed struggle is a restricted, secondary form permitted only under specific defensive conditions. The term holy war does not come from Islamic sources and misrepresents the concept entirely. Misconception 7. Muslims hate non-Muslims. Islam does not teach hatred toward people of other faiths. It commands fairness, kindness, and justice toward all who are not hostile or oppressive. Disagreement in belief does not justify mistreatment. The Prophet Muhammad lived peacefully among non-Muslims, engaged in trade, formed treaties, and protected religious minorities. Verses that mention conflict address specific historical situations, not everyday relationships. Misconception 8. Islam was spread by the sword. Islam forbids forced conversion. Faith must be voluntary to be meaningful. While Muslim empires expanded politically, religious conversion was not imposed. Many regions under Muslim rule remained majority non-Muslim for centuries. Islam spread most significantly through trade, scholarship, and personal interaction, especially in Southeast Asia and Africa. If Islam had spread primarily through force, it would not have persisted after political control ended. Misconception 9. Muslim women are oppressed by Islam. Islam granted women legal rights centuries before many other societies, including property ownership, inheritance, education, consent in marriage, and the right to divorce. Marriage in Islam requires a woman's explicit consent. Cultural practices that restrict women often contradict Islamic teachings rather than represent them. Modesty is a principle for both men and women, and practices like hijab are understood by many women as expressions of faith, not oppression. Abuse and coercion violate Islamic principles, even when justified falsely in religion's name. Misconception 10. Sharia law is barbaric. Sharia is a comprehensive ethical system covering worship, family life, business ethics, and justice. Criminal punishments represent a very small portion and are surrounded by extremely strict conditions that make them rare. Mercy, fairness, and prevention of harm are core objectives. Many practices labeled Sharia in media reports stem from political misuse or cultural traditions, not Islamic law itself. Sharia emphasizes accountability, dignity, and moral responsibility. Misconception 11. Islam is against science or modernity. Islam encourages learning, reasoning, and reflection. Historically, Muslim scholars contributed significantly to mathematics, medicine, astronomy, optics, and chemistry. The Quran does not function as a science textbook, but encourages exploration of the natural world. Islam places ethical limits on how knowledge is used, not on knowledge itself. Resistance to modernity in some societies is rooted in political and historical factors, not religious doctrine. Misconception 12. Muslims cannot be friends with non-Muslims or live peacefully with them. Islam does not require social isolation. Muslims are permitted and encouraged to maintain respectful relationships with people of other faiths. Loyalty to faith does not mean hostility toward others. The Prophet Muhammad's life demonstrates coexistence through friendship, trade, and mutual protection. Islam teaches moral engagement with society, not separation from it. If this corrected something you believed, consider sharing it with someone who might still hold one of these misconceptions. Clarity only spreads when people are willing to question what they've been told.